Raiders-Rams joint practice day 2 today on Night of the Shield. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Night of the Shield. I am Jason Smith, a.k.a. The Knight, and welcome back to another episode. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and go ahead and hit that like button for me. Let's continue to move up the algorithm. If you're new here, welcome. We appreciate you. I know I gained a few off the last video, and I truly appreciate it. I also want to take some time to thank all the beat writers, reporters that have boots on the ground that are actually at these practices, constantly tweeting what's happening, giving us some information, really giving us some good detail, giving us a small glimpse to what's happening, because without them, truly, none of us would really, truly know what's going on. And again, sometimes honesty is not truth, right? So even if these guys are being honest, it doesn't mean this is exactly what's happening with the Raiders. It's up to you to come up with your own perception of reality. That's what I try to do. I take the information, I go over it, I kind of contemplate it a little bit. It's been a little hard lately, I'm not going to lie. I've been really busy. I have my 8 to 5. Currently, right now, I am training for a trip for Florida in November, where I'm going to be traveling from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, all the way to Key West, kayaking, riding a bike, etc. So it's going to be quite the journey. I got a scholarship to do it. It's for people who've dealt with some sort of loss, disability, overcoming some kind of challenge in their life. So I got accepted into the program, so I'm currently training for that. So my time is limited. So this is a late recording today. I just got back from the gym, just had a little bite to eat, kind of went over some things I wanted to touch base on. I didn't even have time to make notes. I never write scripts because I can't read them anyway, but I'll stop rambling now and go ahead and get into some of the things that I want to cover. I'm going to go ahead and start with just the overall perception of what happened in day number 2. A lot with what I expected, right? I expected the Raiders to bounce back from a mediocre day and have a really solid day, and that's the reports that are coming out of practice, is that the Raiders really stepped up. Once again, if you had to put a W or an L on it, everybody's reporting Raiders took the W. I don't put a lot of onus to that. I believe that it's all about the practice. It's all about the grind. It's about getting certain looks in certain situations. In fact, there's a report out there saying that both McDaniels and McCarthy had a conversation, or McVay, I keep saying McCarthy, I don't know why, McVay had a conversation, and they talked about some of the things that they wanted to implement at practice, and so they can take a look at a couple of different things. So once again, I heard our offensive line looked pretty solid, and our defensive line was unstoppable. Now, take that with what you will. I mean, it is what it is, guys. Like, this is practice, but I'm going to tell you what I like about it the most. It gives opportunities for players like Jimmy Garoppolo, Davante Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Jacoby Myers to get on the same page, to kind of get a rhythm down. It's a couple of reports today about some bad passes that Jimmy G threw. Look, I'm not going to get in and speculate what happened exactly on those plays. There's a lot of different things that take place when things connect and don't connect. And it's not fair for us to just try to find one type of negative thing to hang our hat on. It's practice. I mean, mistakes these are where you want mistakes to be made, right? They're going to go back to the field room. They're going to pull all this stuff up. They're going to go play by play. Hey, you should have did this. This is what happened on this play. It might not even been his fault. So again, I'm not going to take some of this stuff seriously. In fact, if you go over and you listen to some of what these guys are saying, they don't even get full, clear view sometimes. Sometimes they're not able to get a clear shot and find out what really happened on the play themselves. They have to go try to confirm it with their contacts. So just take it for what it is. For the most part, they had a great day. They made some plays. One of the things that were talked about is interceptions were down a little bit, which is okay because, you're not going to pick them up and pick them up and pick them up all the time, right? There's going to be days where you're not going to be as active. But one thing that was reported is that they're definitely being active of trying to get turnovers, kind of knock the ball loose and kind of make certain things happen. So in that note, that is still happening. Now, one of the biggest things that came out of the reports today that I was really excited about kind of backs up what I was been saying probably for the last week since I've been out here making videos again, is that there's certain players that just understand leadership. And I've been talking about it now for over a week. People are starting to report about it now, and I'm excited about it, man. I've talked about Epps, I've talked about Peters, I've talked about Spillane, and I talked about Maxx Crosby. Now, Maxx Crosby today, this report I read from Hondo Carpenter. I'll put the tweet here where he's talking about Maxx Crosby when they were doing special team events, or not, they were kicking the ball and doing punt returns and stuff. And these are when some of the bigger players kind of kick back and take a break. Him and Tyree went out and put in some extra work, and he was teaching him some technique. There was a photo of him and Tyree working together. And this is the kind of things that I've been trying to talk about all week long, is that some of these guys like Maxx Crosby and Spillane and Peters and Epps, all of these guys are taking it to the next level. They're not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk, and they're not just keeping it to themselves and being selfish. They're sharing their gifts with others and motivating and inspiring and pushing this team to play at a different level. And again, we'll wait and see how this all transpires. We'll see how much it's going to pay off when the regular season hits. But this is exactly what you're looking for in training camp. You're looking for leaders to step up and lead. And sometimes there's different types of leaders, right? There's people that just lead by example. They go out, they do their thing, follow me, do as I do, right? There's other guys that really nurture and take other people on and actually go up and spend time with these people and do reps with these people and do what Max did and take some time to do some extra reps on the side and be like, hey, let's work on your technique. Hey, try thinking about this or that. Love it. I absolutely love it. So, offensively today, the biggest report that I heard is they did struggle in the red zone, but they did make some plays. Now, a lot of the reports that are coming out are talking about them being real vanilla with it. They're not really drawing up any new specific key schemes or different designs. They're not really showing their hand here. They're just kind of doing some basic concepts in the red zone. And so even though they're not looking lights out in the red zone, they are scoring points. And if we all remember, that's been our biggest struggle the last 2-3 years, is we've struggled in the red zone, scoring points, having to settle for field goals instead of touchdowns. And we all know that could pay big dividends. In fact, some of those games last year, if some of those field goals would have been touchdowns, maybe we don't lose those games, even playing bad in the fourth quarter. So I'm excited for that. I'm really excited because that's one of the strengths of Jimmy G. We always have to hear about people talk about his weaknesses and how fragile he is and all that good jazz. But the guy has certain skill sets. He understands the offense. He reads the field. He can understand reading defense, which, by the way, he learned how to read defenses from Josh McDaniels. So for those who think that Josh McDaniels is a nobody, okay, we don't know if he's going to be the next great head coach for the Raiders. We don't know that yet. There's still a lot to be proven. But I'm not going to take for granted that this guy does have a skill set, and offense is his skill set. Working with quarterbacks is his skill set. I have a history. I come from the management background. I know what it means to be in charge of a large group of people. And, the good ones learn how to delegate. No, I always did what I did best, and I always delegated to those who I knew could do it better than me in other areas, and I either asked for their help or I just had them do it. And that's how teams work, okay? This is not the Josh McDaniels show where Josh McDaniels had to shoulder everything and be the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, the GM, the special teams guy. He needs to trust into his staff. He needs to trust in his assistant coaches. He needs to say, hey, there might be a certain philosophy he has that he wants to see be done, but he needs to put somebody in charge of that and hold them accountable for seeing his vision through. When it comes to the offensive side of things, he's the head of that horse, period. Regardless if he has Lombardi calling some plays or designing some runs and doing different things of that nature, he is still the head honcho there. He's still going to help put the game plan together, whether or not he's calling plays and how much he wants to bring Lombardi along for the ride. But with that said, okay, I am excited for this football team. I can't, there's the fan in me. There's the guy that just wants to overanalyze everything and try to find some kind of negative and prepare myself for the past 20 years and just continue on this ride of mediocrity. but there's something special in the air, and I really hope that it shows itself. Now, this game Saturday is going to be just another step in that direction. Tomorrow we will cover what we need to be looking for, or at least personally what I'm looking for. And you guys already know, number one is consistency, but we'll get into more detail of that tomorrow. But I'm chalking this day up as a win as well for the Raiders. And I think that enough work has been done in these joint practices that I think you don't need to push too hard. I don't think we need to see our starters in this particular game. I really don't. I think that, if they want to give them a test run against Dallas before they have the small break before we go into Denver, I think that might be more ideal. But in this specific scenario, I think that you still hold these guys out. A couple of people got banged up. Dorsett got hurt. Adams did come back, but, there was reports that, he did get nicked up. So I wouldn't push these guys. We need these guys. And I think it's time to take some of this extra money that we're saving, because we lost Parker today on the offensive line 2 years in a row. It is what it is, but maybe we take some of that money and kick it towards Josh Jacobs, because I think that's going to be one of the biggest missing links on this offense. But with that said, iron sharpens iron. I'll take every little grain of salt I can, and I just look forward to seeing what happens on Saturday as we check in on our depth, and we'll go over that tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Hey, once again, this has been brought to you by Independently Blind Studios. Go check out my Independently Blind page. It's where I educate, advocate, motivate, and inspire those who are dealing with sight loss or other disabilities to find their better self, to step out and challenge and overcome what it is they're going through, and find strength in their independence. So go check it out. I'll be filming my journey going to Florida and kayaking and biking across Florida to get to the Florida Keys. I'm really excited for that trip and training really hard. So I'm hoping to inspire a lot of people. I got a team of my buddies here that are blind and visually impaired, and we're heading up there. There's going to be 4 of us, so we're pretty excited about it. So any type of support you want to give, we appreciate it. Not asking for no money. It's all paid for. It's a scholarship that we qualified for. But just, words of encouragement, accountability. You want to just check in on me, just put something in the comment section, asking if I'm doing all right or whatever. Just motivate. I'm all about motivation and inspiration. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about what I'm going to personally be looking for in this preseason matchup against the Los Angeles Rams on Saturday. But until next time, stay Raider strong. Night out.